Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Beauty Topics podcast. It's Chantel here, and I have a really great episode for you guys today because I have the beautiful Juanita, and she is a curly-haired specialist. So many people ask for this. So when I had Tanya on of Luna Hair, she said, I know the perfect person for you to talk to about curly hair. She's like, you're going to love her. She's beautiful. She's so sweet. She's so talented. So I'm really excited that she agreed to do this. So why don't you say, hey, Juanita?
Hi, everyone. I'm Juanita.
And then what is the name of your salon space?
So I work at Vera Hair, but I go as Jay's Beauty under Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then do you have a Facebook page also or just Instagram?
Yeah, it should be under Jay's Beauty or Juanita Salazar.
Okay, perfect. You guys, you have no idea. When you see her on Instagram, she's literally stunning. I just let her in. I opened the door. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. You're intimidatingly beautiful, but I know you're so sweet. You probably don't even realize how beautiful you are. I'm sitting here like, ooh, child. I need to step my game up. Knockout. Goodness gracious. And the bouncy curls are just given today.
Thank you so much.
Even with this humid weather in Texas, the bouncy curls are still bouncing and they're not frizzy at all. We have to talk about how come your curls aren't frizzy, because the rest of us, okay, our little curly hair journeys, we're a mess right now, which is why you are here.
It's not easy.
So how long have you been a stylist?
I have been in the industry for 6 years as a hairstylist, but outside of that, I actually started when I was in high school.
Wow.
When I was, I actually was on the drill team. And obviously we had to do makeup for drill team. I always hated it, but I happened to be good at it. So a lot of my teammates would ask me to do their makeup, and then eventually I started getting into the MUA situation, and I would do prom, weddings, and things like that, and that's kind of how I got into all of it.
Wow, no wonder, because I'm looking at the face. The wing liner is perfectly symmetrical. Beautiful soft chocolate color, nude lip, brows done. Okay, I see it. I see it. So there's more to this curly-haired girl than just the curly hair. Okay. How do you like being an entrepreneur?
I actually love it. I love the flexibility. I love to just say, I don't want to work today. If I'm having a bad day.
And then how old are you?
I'm 26. I'm going to be 27 in January.
26, boss chick already, making her own schedule. Do you see what's possible, ladies and gents out there? You can be 26 and be a boss. I love it. I'm here for it. Girl, I wish I would have become a boss at 26. I waited too late in life. Girl, if I would have known then, if I could talk to my younger self, I'd been like, boss up now, like you did. Good for you.
It takes a lot of dedication for sure.
It absolutely
and motivation,
does. Yes.
Because it's exhausting, but it's worth it.
Yeah, because there's nobody pushing you there to punch a clock. You have to be self-motivated and self-aware enough to know that, hey, bills got to get paid. I'm trying to hustle and move and make these decisions for the best outcome for my life.
Absolutely.
And you figured that out at a very young age. Good for you. Hats off to your mama. Okay. Got to praise the mamas too, because I know she had something to do with that.
Yes, ma'am.
So what made you decide to focus really on the curly hair? Because that is truly your specialty. You work wonders in that field.
So like a lot of us curly girls, we don't get a lot of representation. Growing up, I never saw anyone with my type of hair on TV or in movies. You know, you look at the kids' movies. Back then, no one had curly hair.
True story.
No one ever had any representation of what I look like. So and also another thing is culture. In my culture, the beauty standard is not curly hair. Everyone says, oh, get the keratin treatment, get your hair straight. You know, it's just not seen as professional or pretty.
Yes. And it's absolutely beautiful. Yes, I feel you 100%. Yeah, because I'm 20 years older than you. So I definitely understand what you're saying about the lack of representation, because we're talking about Moana just came out recently and she's got some wavy textured hair. It hasn't been. And then we had The Princess and the Frog, but that still doesn't show our
she didn't
curly
wear her hair
texture.
Down.
Yeah, she didn't wear her hair down. It was up in a bun. You know what I mean? So I 100% feel you on that.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like the most representation we've gotten is actually in this new movie, Encanto. Mm-hmm. I'm Colombian. So this was like my little self's dream come true.
Yeah.
You see this girl with curly hair, and then her cousin, she has tight curls. So it's like...
Yes, I did love to see that. Oh my gosh.
We finally get so much curly representation, and I'm so happy for the younger generations.
Yes.
They get to grow up seeing all these new characters with curly hair, and it does impact you a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I got into it, because I felt like a lot of younger girls or even adults, like you said, you're not ready to show your curly hair. It takes a lot to embrace it. I wanted my work to be a space where girls could come in and learn to love their hair.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Isn't that crazy? Like, just you being so young and the way it affected you. I mean, I remember all the hoopla surrounding the Little Mermaid and her having her hair in twists or locks and people making a big deal about it. It's like everyone deserves to be represented. Everyone deserves to be able to see someone who looks like them, you know, in that type of space. Like, we belong in every space. Textured hair, curly hair, locks, whatever the case may be. And Encanto, you're right. Like, I absolutely loved it, girl. Let me tell you something. I'm 46 and me and my little niece will sing We Don't Talk About Bruno at the top of our lungs. But looking at all the skin tones and the Afro-Latinas and everything in that movie, like, it impacted me too. Even at my age, I was like, wow, it was done so well and so respectfully. Because you saw all the different hair types and textures and the different skin tones. Because, I mean, we come in so many different shades.
Absolutely.
We come in so many different shades. And I just thought they really did a good job with that movie. So I completely understand where you're coming from with that. So I did want to ask, because, you know, we got to get into the business of some of these questions. Because, for example, like my sister, she has very long, curly textured hair. And so she's always cautious about getting a haircut. Do you prefer to like cut or trim the hair when it's wet and it's curly state, or maybe when it's dry and straight? Like what do you prefer? What is the best tactic for tackling a trim or layers on curly hair?
So for me, it all depends on the texture of the hair.
Okay.
And how they're going to wear it.
Okay.
If they predominantly wear it curly, then we're going to do a curly cut.
Okay.
If I have a client that comes in and she's still transitioning between wearing it natural and wearing it straight, then we're going to do a different cut.
Okay.
So every haircut is catered to the person.
Okay.
For example, if I have a client that has more of a looser wave, I might cut her dry first and then just trim up anything when it's wet, just to make sure I get
both. Yes.
With my curly girls that only wear their hair curly, I'm cutting it dry.
Okay.
Always cut it dry. And then after I style it completely, I'll go in and do touch-ups as needed.
Gotcha.
But you have to create that shape when it's dry, because when it's wet, you can't see the shape. So if you cut it too much, then it's going to shrink a lot.
Yeah, shrinkage
is real. Shrinkage is super real. And a lot of people that don't work with curly hair don't understand that. So we go and get a haircut. And sometimes our hair ends up to our shoulders because we told them, just cut a little, and it ends up being to our shoulders.
Preach. And I think even trying to explain that you want a little bit of layers just to add a little bit of bounce. If they don't understand textured or curly hair, you are going to look like a Christmas tree. We've all had that weird cut. I don't even know how else to describe it. I have to describe it with a sound. But those of you who are listening who have been through it, you know what means. It means you got jacked up and your hair literally looks like the shape of a Christmas tree.
Yes.
Because they didn't know what they were doing. And they didn't know how to properly blend the layers of curly hair. Because it is such an art form. It is such a talent. Like, you need to go to a curly specialist. This is not just a go to anybody thing. It's just not. It is not. What you do is such a niche market, but it is so necessary. And I love the fact that more and more people are embracing their natural texture and like not doing all these relaxers and blowouts and things. Not that there's anything wrong with that if that's what you want to do, but if you're ready to embrace your natural hair journey, like find yourself a really good curly haired specialist, because it's going to make all the difference in the world. So I want to know, how often should a curly girl wash her hair? Like my youngest daughter, she basically washes her hair. It's every other day. She pretty much does it every other day. Is that okay? Or she does hydrate and use masks and all that good stuff, which I want to get into products later. But how often does it depend on the texture of the hair? How often you should wash it?
Yes. Again, okay. It goes down to the texture, and it's person by person. It's case by case. Okay. So if you're doing a lot of activity, if you're putting a lot of product, which honestly, I don't think you should. The less, the better with product. Okay. But I just tell my clients, if your hair feels dirty, wash it. Okay. If so it doesn't feel dirty. Well, for you, are you a twice a week, a 3 times a week? What do you typically do? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't wear my hair down very often. And that's just because I do it all day. So the last thing I want to worry about is my own hair, unfortunately. Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes self-care goes on the back burner when you're in the industry. I get it. So for me, it's usually like twice a week. And okay, that's me. I'm a twice a weeker. Yeah. Like Wednesdays and Sundays, I wash my hair. Yes. Okay, that's like wash days for me. And then one of those days, I do go in with a clarifier. Okay. Because I think clarifying is super, super important. Especially as a curly girl, we're putting in so much product into our hair that sometimes we don't get it fully clean. And those products just start building up, and our curls start becoming weighed down, or it's just not curling the way it should curl. And when you go in and clarify, you're removing everything that needs to be removed. Even on the scalp. If your scalp is not clean, your hair won't grow. So your scalp is your main priority. And if your scalp does not feel clean, you're going to face dandruff problems, dry scalp problems, oily scalp problems, hair loss. There's just so much that we don't really think about. Okay. And so when you say clarifying, what do you mean specifically? So you can use a detox or clarifying shampoo. Okay. I usually always shampoo twice. The first shampoo removes everything. The second shampoo is really going to be the beneficial shampoo. If you need to go in for a third one, go ahead and use it. Wash your hair until it feels clean. That's squeaky clean. Exactly. Okay. A lot of people will wash their hair once and be like, okay, I washed it. But it's not actually washed. And that's when buildup starts happening. Gotcha. I agree 100% because I notice sometimes, like if I've been like outside, like working, like when you're like working out in your yard or the garden, or you've had a really busy like week or whatever, the first like shampoo, it almost doesn't even like foam up or anything that much. It's just getting like the top, all those top layers of product and hairspray. It's just kind of rinsing that out. And it's not until I get into that second or third shampoo that I really feel like I'm doing something, like something is getting clean. Right. You got to break through that first barrier of that crud. It's true. And I do so many like beauty pageants and things like that. So I have to tell them, hey, I need you to wash it like 3 or 4 times because you got to bust through all of that got to be glued hairspray and all of that root lifting powder and all that. You have to bust through that stuff. Absolutely. I always tell my clients to think of it like when they wear makeup. Do they just remove it with a makeup wipe and just call it a day? Oh, girl, no, I hope not. Absolutely not. I hope not. So you go in, you remove it with the makeup wipe, then probably like a makeup remover, and then you wash your face until it's completely clean, and then you go in and you do your skincare. Absolutely. I'm a believer in a triple cleanse, whether you grab a wipe or some micellar water on some cotton pads, break that down, and then get your cleansing oil or cleansing balm, and then get your actual like creamy cleanser to get it off. Yes, girl, preach it. Oh, you know what you're talking about. She's young, ma'am. But she knows she's been here before. She's an old soul, y'all. She's in it. She's about the cleanliness. Okay. See, that's why we were supposed to be sitting here today, because you know all the things. So how important are like deep conditioners and masks and stuff like that for curly girls? So when you're going to remove things, you need to replenish them. Okay. Just like when we go in with our skincare after washing our faces.
Yes.
So usually when I do those big clarifying shampoos, I will go in and rehydrate everything, because now the cuticle is open and you can allow anything to go in. When there's buildup, even if you hydrate it, it's not going to go in because
it will not
it's
penetrate because it's blocked. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So definitely clarifying and then reconditioning the hair is super, super important. If you clarify and you don't recondition, it's going to be super dry.
And dryness is the enemy, because dryness causes the breakage and also the split ends and the frizz.
Everything.
Yes. Dryness is your enemy. I gotcha. Okay. So how often do we do a mask?
Mask? It really depends. If your hair feels healthy, then maybe once every 2 weeks. Okay. If your hair has been through chemical treatments, heat, or anything like that, and you're trying to repair, you should be doing at least once a week. Okay. But you really need to focus on rehydrating and working on the health of your hair. Okay. You should feel it. You should feel it. You're going to feel it when it's dry. You're going to feel it when
when it feels crusty, like crunchy, like cornflakes. We all know when we've done the wrong thing.
You're right. If you don't, you're in denial.
Yeah. Or you've been swimming in the beach or in the pool. You kind of, what you need to do when you've been in those chemicals and stuff like that. So I get it. Now, I see a lot of things on the market like serums and oils. I love a good hair oil. I love Moroccan oil, ghost oil, all that. Do you recommend serums for curly girls? Like, is there any type of serum that we should be using in conjunction with our oils? Or does it kind of depend?
I guess
it depends, right? I think because it gets so confusing because so many new products come out all the time. And now they're like, oh, you need to add this step. Because before it was like, wash, condition, mask, you know what I mean? Heat protectant, and then like get your diffuser. And now it's like, you need to get your serum. It's like, when do I put the serum? It's like they keep adding steps and you get confused.
Yeah. I think it's case by case. Like, okay. Honestly, most of this is going to be case by case. Nobody has the same hair. Nobody can use the same products. Yeah. It's very hard to find something that works for everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone has different hair textures, hair densities. Just there's so many
color treated, because you treat the color treated curls much different than you treat the natural.
And even things like, we don't think about the environment we live in, or if we have well water at home or filtered water. All those things affect us. Even
how does the well water affect? Because my mom and dad, they live like out, girl, in the country, like out, and they have a well. So how does the well water like affect the hair?
So a lot of times that well water has a lot of sediment.
Yes, it does.
So
it does.
It can affect your hair, obviously. Like, it's like if you...
Is it going to dry it out?
Yeah, it can.
Okay.
Some people do well in well water. I personally don't.
I didn't.
Filtered water is what I think is best for the hair. Okay. A lot of times there's like sulfates in those waters. There's chlorine because they're trying to filter it out. And it's like if you're jumping into a pool, you think your hair is going to be clean.
And it didn't dawn on me until you just said that, because like I said, my parents had a well. So like when I lived with them as a teenager, my hair wasn't its best. It really wasn't. Yeah. And I'm sitting here going, damn, it was the water. It never dawned on me. I'm thinking I'm not using the right shampoo. I'm not conditioning long enough. Girl, I would walk around with like these deep conditioner on and like a shower cap on for like 2 hours thinking, okay, I'm gonna deep condition my hair and then go rinse it out with the well water and make it worse. Yeah. Girl, you just said something. I'm texting my mom when this is done and being like, it's your fault my curl pattern got messed up as a teenager.
Yeah, there's
with
a
your
lot.
Well water. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot we don't really think about at all. I mean, even the pollution in the air affects our hair.
Absolutely.
If you go out to the country, your hair might be better than somewhere where it's super polluted.
Yeah. And of course, like humidity and all that kind of stuff is going to affect the hair.
Everything.
Yeah, because we live in Texas and everybody's like, oh, you're going to get big Texas hair. And I'm like, it's not on purpose. It's the humidity. Everybody's hair is big once they step out the house. We look cute indoors. It's when we walk to the car, our hair get poof. And then it's not cute anymore. Oh my gosh. So how do you get, like, when you're working with a client, for example, like I showed you a picture of my daughter, like, because she works really hard to try to get smooth, like defined curls and not frizz. Do you have any like anti-frizz products that you like recommend that you kind of really feel like work for a multitude of hair types? I know it's really customizable, but like any specific like anti-frizz products that you're like, hey, this line is pretty good. Do you know what I mean? Because that fighting the frizz is really hard.
I think that fighting the frizz is about styling it properly.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as our hair dries, the frizz dries. So what you want to avoid is letting your hair dry.
Okay.
Any like movement before it's dry is going to cause frizz. So what I do and what I tell my clients to do is take their product into the shower.
Okay.
That way, you're not making a mess on the floor.
Yeah.
Because your hair's going to be soaking when you're applying these products.
Okay.
Your hair needs to absorb all that water with the product. So it needs to lock in that water because we need extra moisture.
Gotcha.
So
you're treating your clients in the shampoo bowl. You're applying the products at the shampoo bowl.
Yes, ma'am.
Girl, do tell. I'm so intrigued right now.
So my process at the salon, I take my girls, I brush their hair out, I cut their hair, shape them, everything, make sure they're satisfied with their shape, and then I take them to the bowl. I clarify. If they need it twice, if they need it 3 times, 4 times, whatever it takes to get it squeaky clean. Because a lot of these girls come to me and they don't know about this stuff.
They haven't clarified since never.
Yeah.
So you're breaking it down.
It almost feels like wax on their hair.
Yeah.
So once I do that, we hydrate. I brush it out. I brush it with the conditioner, mask, whatever I use, and let them sit for a little while I go get the products. I come back. I rinse out that conditioner. Sometimes, depending on the hair, I'll leave some of that conditioner in. And then I go in and take sections and apply the product. Soaking wet. Soaking wet, that's the key. If it starts drying, because some people do dry quickly. So even if they're sitting in a clip, it's drying. So I go back and rinse
Mr. Bottle.
it. Yeah.
Oh, you go back and rinse it. Okay.
I rinse, I pour some water on it and then apply. Pour water, apply. It has to be dripping. And then also that's going to prevent you from having to use so much product.
Okay.
Because it's going to mix with that water and it's going to coat it basically.
Okay.
So then you don't have to use so much product and then your curls won't be like weighed down by this product. I love pattern.
Okay. Come on, Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I love pattern. I will die for pattern. Like, that is my favorite. I know there's so many other brands, but pattern has worked really well for all my clients.
Fantastic.
And honestly, I only use one product.
What?
I use their Stronghold gel. Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. And you know, sometimes we think Stronghold is going to be crunchy. Never.
Wow.
I go in with an oil after, which we were talking about oils earlier.
Yes.
My favorite oil is a brand called Shibui. They're a newer brand, but they're super clean. They're even gluten-free, which I didn't even know hair products could be gluten-free. And that's probably my favorite oil right now.
Okay.
But yeah, every time I use pattern from coily curls to loose waves.
Yes. When
I scrunch it out, there's no flakes, which is a big concern with me.
Absolutely.
I hate when the gel gets flaky. And it's fluffy.
Wow.
And it's not crunchy and it's not weighed down. It's very soft. It almost feels like you have nothing, but in a good way.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's probably my top product.
Okay, I'm gonna have you make a little list for me to go get for my girls, because they're both doing curly. So, and I'm so excited for them, because it's like, I just love the fact that they're embracing their hair more and they're really proud of their hair, because it is your crown. So I'm really excited that they want to continue on their curly hair journeys. So pattern. Okay. Definitely picking that up. What clarifying shampoo do you really enjoy using?
I really like, again, Shibui.
Okay. Shibui.
Their clarifying shampoo is really good. And then I do also like Way. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like OAUI or something.
Yes,
like that.
That's right. Way, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have a detox shampoo. That one's really good too. But honestly, the Shibui is pretty good.
That's where, okay, Shibui. Okay, that's what and I love the name. I like to say it. So they've got a great oil and they've got the great detox shampoo. And then we got to grab our pattern for say the product again, the pattern.
Stronghold Gel.
Stronghold Gel. Okay, but it's not the flaky kind of gel. It's not the crispy, crunchy gel. Okay, it's not that. It's going to smooth. It's going to fight the frizz, and you want to apply that damp or soaking wet.
Yes.
Okay. So,
very wet.
Very wet. So we want to apply it very wet. So you say bring everything into the shower and go to work in the shower. So that way when you come out, you're looking fresh and fabulous out the shower. I'm here for it.
When you're applying these products, also brush them through so it's evenly distributed.
Okay. What kind of brush do you recommend? Is there some type of detangle brush or a curly girl brush?
So when I'm applying the product let's say we're in the shower.
Right.
Go in with a detangling brush.
Okay.
But after, when you're setting your curls, my holy grail brush used to be the Denman, but now it's this bounce curl brush, which I know a lot of curly girls have been seeing going around.
Okay. Bounce curl brush.
Yeah, it's the Define brush. So they have a Define brush and they have a volume brush, which I have both, and they both work amazing. I think the volume brush is more for tighter curls or thick densities. And then the Define is more for just everything else. Okay. Sounds good. Definitely something I want to invest in too. Okay. Yeah, so that's definitely a holy grail. It separates the curls for you so you don't have to go in and finger coil.
Right.
It does the work for you.
Okay.
So it makes the process a lot faster.
Okay. Yeah, because finger coiling, that does take a while.
It's
forever. Worth it, but it takes a long time. Okay, so that being said, so we get the brush, we've got our products, and we've got our brush, and we're doing everything in the shower. Now, once we're out of the shower, because let's say we got to head out to work. Are we letting this air dry? Are we getting a diffuser? What's like the polishing it up kind of final step?
So that depends on your time.
Okay.
If you
my daughter lets hers air dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I let it air dry when I don't have time.
Okay. But is a diffuser, is that even good for the hair? Do you prefer for them to keep as much heat off of the hair as possible? Or is it okay to diffuse it?
It's okay to
get
diffuse.
it dry when you're trying to rush out. You know what I mean? Okay. Especially if it's cold outside. I don't want her leaving with wet, damp hair if it's cold.
Yeah, you can definitely diffuse. The way that you diffuse is going to make your curls look different. So if you're scrunching when you diffuse, they're going to be curlier and shorter. Because you're more enhancing compact. It,
right?
If you're just kind of hovering and let it hang, it's going to make it longer. But it's still going to dry it, obviously. So it really just depends on how you're using it. And then also, anytime you're diffusing, put the heat on low.
Okay.
So if you can put it on cool and be patient, cool. But if you need a little heat to make it quicker, put it on the lowest heat setting. And then with the air pressure, also, I would recommend using it on low.
Okay.
Because once you hit that higher, it starts moving it way too much, and it's like you're shaking it up. It can cause
frizz, and you've just messed up all the work that you've just done.
Yes. Okay. So when it's like still soaking, low air pressure, low heat, when you're like 75%, you can turn that air pressure up a little. Okay. Especially if you want that fluffy, like voluminous look.
Gotcha. And then what hairdryer do you use in your spot? What do you like?
So I have the Gamma IQ Professional. Okay. For the salon. But at home I use the Shark.
Oh, that's what I have too, is the Shark. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I was just wondering because it's like when you're talking about like the lowest pressure and lowest heat setting, I think sometimes people don't understand how to use their tools properly. Because I have to talk to some of my clients about curling their hair. And she's like, when I curl it, it comes out different than when you do it or whatever. And I'm like, what heat setting are you using? Because I'm not pumping it. They think that pumping it up all the way to the highest heat setting on their curling iron is going to make like a tighter curl or make the curl last longer. And I'm like, you're just causing more damage. We can curl this hair on a lower heat setting with a really good heat protectant and let that curl cool completely before you brush it out. So that way the curl's already locked in. You know what I mean? So you don't have to bump up on the highest heat setting of every, styling tool that you own to get a good result. It's actually the opposite. Like lower it down, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you're getting less heat damage. Absolutely. So I think that's really important. I'm glad that you brought that up because it absolutely does matter because we're frying our hair, putting curling irons and flat irons up on 450. 450, it's like, are we frying like a chicken? Like we don't need to be on 450. Even that you can do in 375. So it's like, think about the amount of heat that you're using. Like, do you want to stick your head in a 450 degree oven? But you're like literally pressing that on your hair going, I wonder why it's frying. I wonder why it's breaking. Because you're cooking it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that when they're diffusing their hair, like, they come to me and they say they diffuse it, but they're getting heat damage. I'm like, well, what setting are you using it?
Full blast.
Right. That's why it's dry. That's why it's crispy. That's why you're getting breakage.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're frying it like it's a piece of bacon in the oven. It's like sizzling up. Like, think about that. You put that piece of bacon in the oven on 450, it's going to burn in a couple of minutes. And that's what you're doing to your hair. Yeah,
I mean, diffusing it, I think it does make a difference. But you have to be patient with it because it's not like I'm going to diffuse it so my hair dries faster. It's more like I'm going to diffuse it so my curls look good.
Yeah, it's a styling tool. It's not, it's not necessarily to save time. It's a styling tool. Yeah. But for me, I just don't want her running around outside with wet hair in the wintertime.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's why. Yeah. You can always
just wake up earlier, y'all. It's okay.
You can always just diffuse it for like 10 minutes if you have those 10 minutes. Okay. So that it's a little drier. You don't have to dry it till it's completely dry. Okay. And then another thing a lot of people ask me is towel drying. Do not towel dry. I mean, there's microfibers, but it's hard to find a good microfiber that works for curly hair because I feel like even those sometimes can cause frizz. So personally, if I don't have the time, I'm using a cotton t-shirt.
I was going to say my daughter will wrap a t-shirt around her head real quick. We'll wrap a t-shirt. Yes, girl. Yes. My husband's old t-shirts that he doesn't wear, they turn into head wrap towels. They do. Those go straight to head wrap towels. If it gets one little hole in it, I'm like, oh, it's a towel now. For sure. It does make a huge difference.
It really does.
And I think sleeping on the silk pillowcases and like having her with her little silk bonnet, that makes a difference too on the curls. It's less friction.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we don't think about it, but the friction even causes breakage. If your hair is rubbing and rubbing, it's gonna break.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I'm the worst client. I'm the worst client. In my head, I'm my worst client because I don't take care of my hair the way I tell my clients to take care of it.
This one here is not practicing what she preaches. You're lucky your hair looks so darn good.
Listen to what I say.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
No, you didn't, girl. You will be using that line if you ever decide to become a Bible girl. You will be using that line for sure. Do as I say, not as I do. But your hair still looks great. So unfair. Okay. So now I want to ask you, does like flat ironing ruin your curl pattern? Like if you wearing your hair straight, like for certain events, does that mess your curl pattern up?
If you do it constantly and you're not doing it correctly, yes.
Okay.
So if you're going to do it, blow dry it as straight as possible first. Because that flat iron is what's going to cause the damage. And make sure you're doing a lot of heat protectant.
Okay.
A good heat protectant or a good leave-in. Because essentially a leave-in conditioner is very similar to a heat protectant.
Okay.
It's hydrating your hair.
Okay.
So I use a leave-in and I straighten my hair still.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I tell my clients, if you're not ready, I can cut it to where you can still wear it both ways.
Wear it both ways. Gotcha.
But the blow drying part is going to be the most essential because that's when you're not putting direct heat. So if you can get it as flat as possible during that blowout, the straightening, it should be one pass and go.
Gotcha. Exactly. It should be one pass. Yeah. If you're getting a good round brush and blowing it out properly, completely dry, yes, you should be able to take your T3 or whatever and do that one pass and go. If you're having to do 3 and 4 passes, you didn't really get a smooth as blow dry as you think you did. Gotcha. So what about these blowout treatments like Brazilian blowouts and Dominican blowouts? Does that completely wreck your curl pattern?
I'm a victim.
Oh, I am a victim. What was your experience? What happened?
So, obviously in high school, I didn't like my curls and I would straighten it a lot. And one day I asked my mom, who doesn't have curly hair and didn't know how to work with it, if I could get a Brazilian blowout. And I got that Brazilian blowout and it was straight for 2-3 months. And then I started getting waves and curls in between it and it was breaking. It was so dry.
Oh.
Just no. It was bad. So I shaved my hair.
Girl, shut the front door. You shaved your head? Yeah. Well, you have that beautiful face, so it didn't, I'm sure you were fine.
I shaved it off and I vowed to never get that again because even when I started growing it out again, my curls weren't the same. My curls were never the same. Now, they've gotten a lot better, but I also shaved it again. I've shaved it twice.
Wow, like scalped yourself.
Basically.
Like that cute little like buzz cut that some girls are doing, and I love it.
My first time, I got a pixie because I was scared.
I've done a pixie.
I had always had hair down to my butt.
Yeah.
And
that was traumatizing, right?
I'm going from having my hair down to my butt to having to cut it all off because I ruined it. I got a relaxer.
Yeah.
Essentially, I got a relaxer and it just fried my hair. Wow. And it was breaking and it just looked so bad. And for me, if my hair doesn't look healthy, I'm cutting it off.
Right.
So that second time when I cut it, it was because I was overcoloring it. Which is another thing that happens to curly girls. We overcolor it. If it's overprocessed, you lose your curl. And so...
You mean like bleaching? When you say coloring, were you bleaching? Were you going blonde in like the summers and stuff like that?
Yeah. Oh. I was coloring it a lot. I did crazy colors. I did pink. I did blue. I did all these different colors. And my curls were gone. So I said, okay, well, time to shave it again. And I had a fade.
Wow.
I had a fade for like 9 months.
Okay.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
But I started my journey
to curly hair,
healthy curly, and I actually took it serious this time.
Didn't take it for granted this time. Yeah.
I
think we've all been there with like a bad color decision or, because it's like, you're like, oh, it's the summer, I'm going to go blonde. And it's like, child, believe it or not, I've been blonde before. Yeah. And it was cute, but the upkeep, it was ridiculous. My hair, I couldn't get it hydrated enough. So I finally just went back, to my natural color. I'm like, look, I can't do this anymore. It was cute for that little time, but I would never go back and do it again. Because like you said, like it did mess with the curl pattern. It did mess with the texture and the dryness and the breakage, where you end up having to chop it into a pixie cut anyway after the fact. So I'm like, was it really worth it? For me, no. But you know, when you're in your 20s, you do things. Yeah, I know. But now, like, I can say it really, like, your hair is like, I see it's like down your back. It's beautiful. It's bouncy. Like the curls are smooth, frizz free. So you definitely have on your way, but I mean, you're the curly girl specialist. So of course you had the tools. You were just kind of like denying yourself there for a little bit. I see.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm against color, because honestly, I get bored with my hair, and I've been wanting to color it, but I know myself and I know I'll keep coloring it. That's my problem. But I do say that if you're wanting color, just go to someone that knows your hair. Don't just go to anyone, because not everyone knows what curly hair can take.
That's true. That's
true. If you're wanting to go blonde, go to someone that knows how to get curly girls blonde. And with that, it's like you have to do it slow and steady.
Yeah, don't expect to go in there and be blonde, like be fully lifted in one session.
Right.
Yeah, you need to take that over time, so that way you're not basically, because I've seen girls like their hair has turned to the texture of peanut butter. It's like melted off because they're trying to bleach it to platinum.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, do you feel like, is curly hair more fragile?
Yeah, because we need more hydration. So if you remove that hydration, if there's no cuticle to hold on to, which bleach does take away from the integrity of the hair,
right?
It's gonna get damaged.
Man, yeah. I mean, and just when you don't feel good about your hair, it kind of, or when you get that bad haircut, I swear it like ruins. It almost makes you self-conscious. It's like you try to deny it and not think about it. You try to put it out of your mind, but you can't help but look in the mirror and go, damn, what did I do? You know, and have that regret. So, man, because I'm sitting here reminiscing, because like I've been there. Like, oh man, you know what I mean? It's tough. It's just because your hair is your crown, and it really affects how you feel about yourself. It affects your self-esteem. So it's like you want to take the best care of your hair, your body, your skin that you possibly can. So I love that you talk about really good products and what we need and what we don't need. So like a good like routine would be washing once or twice a week. Make sure you're deep conditioning, because we just want to make sure that you guys have like the tools. Like you want a clarifying shampoo. You want that deep conditioner. You want that mask. Now the clarifying shampoo, is this a bi-weekly thing we're using, or is this like a once a month? To clarify, what do you? I know it depends on how much styling products and stuff that you use, but some people need a routine. Be like, look,
yeah.
So
I use it once a week.
Use it once a week, okay.
But if you're
using a lot of styling products, you may need it twice.
You might need it every time you use it. Okay. If it's causing buildup, you need it.
Okay.
And you're gonna feel it. Like I said, you get almost this waxy feel on your hair. And a lot of these products do cause that waxy coat because they have silicones or I was going to say, is it the
silicone that they're feeling? Yeah.
Right. Okay. All those things build up. They make your hair shiny, but it's just because it's coating it. So if you need it, you need it.
Gotcha.
That's what it is. If you feel it, and do it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And Shibui. They make a great clarifying shampoo. Awesome sauce. Now, for you, do you sleep in like a silk head wrap or anything? Or do you sleep on a silk pillowcase? Any of that?
Like I said, I'm my worst client.
Oh, but do you recommend it? You do recommend it to your clients?
Yes, I absolutely recommend it to my clients. Yes. Sometimes I do wrap it in a t-shirt.
Gotcha.
So that my curls last for the next day. But yeah, if you can wear that that silk bonnet or have those silk pillowcases, absolutely do it.
Okay. And I highly recommend silk, not satin. There's just a huge difference. People are like, oh no, I sleep on a satin pillowcase. That's not a natural fiber. Okay, so it's not going to breathe. Like silk is a natural occurring fiber. Like it's natural. It's breathable. It's going to stay cool and soft. It's going to have zero friction whatsoever. So you're going to notice a difference as sleeping on silk versus sleeping on satin. Silk is always better because it's a natural fiber. So just you guys take note of that too. I love to sleep on like slip silk pillowcases. I know they're expensive as hell, so just try to catch them at TJ Maxx like I do, because they'll have them for like $30 as opposed to like $80. So, and mine don't match, girl. I just buy whichever ones they have available because I change my pillowcases out all the time.
Yeah.
And I recommend that to a lot of my clients too, to keep changing out your pillowcases. Just because you want a fresh, clean pillowcase to go to sleep on at night, especially if you have a breakout or something like that, because you don't want any type of cross contamination. So I think that's really, really important. I know you talked about like the brush that you like to use. Is there any specific like wide tooth combs or anything that we should be using for like, because I'm thinking like my niece, for example, she's 6. She has beautiful curly hair. It's really, really long. For detangling purposes, do you recommend any certain detanglers for young kids? Because sometimes they just don't want you to touch them. They don't want to do it.
I know. I've had little girls.
I've seen on your Instagram that you do the littles too.
And they're like in tears. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. Because sometimes they're too tender-headed. Like even if I'm doing it as gentle as possible.
Yeah.
I have to just wait till I wash them and detangle them there.
Okay. So you're detangling in the shampoo bowl with with conditioner in it, or soaking wet, or?
Yeah, so I'll either do it with conditioner or, again, Pattern has this really good, it's like a milk.
Oh, okay.
A detangling milk.
Nice.
It works amazing to detangle. But detangling wise, I've heard the unbrush is really good.
Okay, unbrush. Okay.
And then the Tangle Teaser as well.
Okay.
And then I like the wet brush still.
Okay, and a wet brush. Okay.
But
that's good that we have options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just depends, again, on the texture. So with the coilier, you need a firmer bristle. So a wet brush is not going to work that well unless you can find one that has firm bristles. And always, always, always start at the bottom.
And work your way up. Okay.
Do it in sections. And with the tighter curls, I like to twist the section after I brush it out.
Okay. Twist after the brush out. Okay.
That way it doesn't keep getting tangled. Any movement will tangle your hair.
Girl, isn't that annoying? She's very blessed. She has beautiful, bouncy curly hair just like yours, but still no kid wants their hair detangled after the shower. It's like, ugh. It can feel like a chore to them. And it's like you want them to love their hair and not want to run away when they see you coming towards them with a brush.
Yeah.
So how often typically do you give your clients a trim? Like every couple of months, or... Because, I mean, we try to not put as much heat on the curly hair. So maybe do they not need trims as often as... she's shaking her head at me, y'all. Girl, go ahead and tell us. How often do we need to trim?
So if you want your hair to grow, you should be coming in every 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
And a lot of people think, I don't want to get a haircut because I want it to grow. You're not getting like 3 inches cut off every time if you're coming consistently.
Okay.
So... 3 to 4 months, because a lot of, again, pollution, environmental things, water, products, it all causes dryness. And if we're not cutting that, it's going to start cutting on its own. By breaking.
Girl. And those ends will split clear all the way up to the up
and
the
then
shaft
you're
of
like,
the
why
hair.
isn't my hair growing? Well, you should have got a trim. And it doesn't have to, like I said, it doesn't have to be a lot every time. We can just do cleanups and refresh the ends. It doesn't have to be a drastic cut every single time.
Gotcha.
But if you're coming every year, every 2 years, it's gonna have to be more than just an inch if we're not taking care of it properly.
Okay. Well, all that makes complete and total sense. We have to just be honest with ourselves. So if you don't want to ruin your curl pattern, steer clear of those blowout treatments. You don't need any Brazilian blowouts or Dominican blowouts because you're going to wreck your curl pattern. You're going to end up with a pixie cut and have to start over like my girl over here. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming. Wow, that was extremely informative. Like you taught me a lot. I mean, you really are about your business. I love what you do. I love following you on Instagram just because, like I said, I've seen the littles. Like I saw a little girl, maybe she was 7 or 8. And she was sitting there smiling and you could tell she was loving her curls. And I've seen you do just a multitude of races, ethnicities, all these different types and textures. And that really inspired me too, because it's like you truly know your business. You know your business. There's an art to taking care of curly hair. It's like nothing else. Not that I'm knocking you people that do straight hair, but I'm saying curly is more intensive. I just feel like it is. And learning about doing everything in the shower, right? That part, doing everything in the shower and taking it to the shampoo bowl and doing things soaking wet, because I have not been doing it that way. And I'm like, that explains a lot as to why I don't wear my hair curly as often, because it wasn't giving what I wanted it to give, because I wasn't doing it right. Period. Point blank. Yeah. So, thank you so much, Miss Juanita. Can you please remind us what your Instagram account is so they can check it out?
It's J's Beauty 19. I think there's a dot in between the J. I'm not sure, but
that's okay, because I am going to put it in the description of the episode so that everybody can find you. Can they book you by DMing you, or how do they book with you?
I have my booking link on my bio.
Okay, so perfect.
It'll be there, but if you do have any problems with that, you can always message me.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me.
No, of course. I appreciate. She was so nervous, you guys. And everybody gets so nervous. And I'm like, it's just me sitting on the couch talking to you. I'm not going to bite you. I promise. I'm just going to ask some questions that I myself want to know, or my listeners or my clients, because my clients will message me and go, hey, can you ask her this? You know, which is why I was asking you, like, what kind of brush should they buy? Because a lot of my clients, have like biracial children, mixed children. And they're like, look, I want to make sure I'm being the best mom I can be, and I'm taking care of my children's hair the proper way, because I want them to love their curls and embrace it. So please tell me what I need to do to help them love their hair.
I get a lot of those.
Yes, absolutely. And they just really want to embrace it and make sure that they're teaching their girls to like really love their curls, because their curls are so beautiful.
Yeah. And that's part of my process is teaching them. It's not just a haircut. It's also like a class.
Right. And that's what I was told about you as well, that you do a great job of educating your clients. When they leave, they're smiling because they're like, when I leave here, I know if I follow what she told me to do, I can keep my hair looking this good. Because so many of us, we go to the salon and you're like, whoo, I want to do all kinds of fun stuff today while my hair is looking good, because I'm not going to be able to do this again. And you shouldn't feel that way. You should leave knowing, okay, this is what my stylist taught me how to recreate this look. And so I love how you educate them of all ages. You educate the little ones, the teens, the moms. Like, I love that about you, because it's definitely a teachable moment.
It is. Yeah. It is.
So good for you. I mean, 26, boss babe, teaching people. I'm so proud of you. I need to meet your mother, girl. Shout out to her. Oh my goodness. So you guys, she is located at Vera Hair in Katy. I'm going to put all the info in the description bar of the episode, because I really want you guys to book with her. If you have curly hair, she's going to teach you how to love it. So thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in to the Beauty Topics podcast. We hope we made your jog or walk or drive better. And you guys take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.